Okay, good evening everyone and welcome to another Tools and Techniques session. Today we've got Liana who's going to take us through storytelling. But before we actually get to that, let me just get through some of the house rules. So please stay on mute unless clear to talk. Please don't click on the screen, it is not interactive. Switch off your video, only the presenter's video is allowed. The presentation will be about 45 minutes long. You may post your questions in the main chat. We will read them to the presenter when it's time for the Q&A. You can also use the Q&A button to actually add your comments. Presentations will be uploaded on the IIBA SA YouTube page found at www.youtube.com/user/IIBASA. Unfortunately, we do not send out the presentation deck. To become a member of the IIBA South Africa, go to our website, www.iiba.org/business-analysis-membership. And for our next event, which is actually our masterclass if you haven't registered yet, please visit the IIBA South Africa's event page at southafrica.iiba.org/events-list or follow the IIBA LinkedIn page. That's on linkedin.com/company/IIBA-South-Africa-chapter. And if you would like to present a tool or technique to the community, please contact us at professionaldevelopment@southafrica.iiba.org. And so thank you for joining us. And let me now do the introduction of Liana. Let's see if this will let me go back. Okay, this doesn't let me go back. Let me go. Okay, so Liana Ahrens Teixeira. She's the founder of LPJ Financial Services and LPJ Analytics. She specializes in asset management, FX, business data analysis, strategy, and training. She currently also serves as lead data analyst at Centra Sol Dow, holding an MSc and credentials in data science, machine learning, business analytics, financial modeling, and AI. With 25 plus years of experience, she transforms complex data into insights and also partners with academia to develop industry-focused courses. So without further ado, let me hand over to Liana. Liana, you can kick me out at any time.
I'm busy kicking you out. Good evening, everybody. And thanks, Lolita. Okay, we are talking about storytelling. First, I would like to start with saying data. I don't know why it is somehow, I don't know, people are scared of the word data. Let's think about if you pick up the Babel Guide for the first time. That book that weighs a ton, it's data. Until you open it up and you start reading and you actually start extracting information out of it, it's just plain data. You look at the person next to you in the corridor and they are smiling or not. That is data. The way you process it, what you do with it, takes it physically from data and eventually into wisdom. So when you're working with processes, you're working with procedures, until you've actually studied it and done something with it, we are talking about raw data. So whatever we do, we are working with data on a daily basis. So data is actually meaningless. It's got no meaning until you do something. So I'm saying it's much easier to understand all of that data if you tell a story. So storytelling highlights the goal of turning raw insights into meaningful influence. It underscores the collaborative nature of data analysis and interpretation. The image of a team working together around data visuals
Sorry, Liana,
reinforces.
are you presenting? Because we are not seeing your presentation.
No?
Or am I not looking? Yeah. Okay, wait, I found it. It's okay. Showing double screen
Hey.
again. Sorry about that.
Okay, the image of a team working together around data visuals reinforces the idea that effective storytelling is a collective effort that combines analytical rigor with creative communication to drive impact. To me, there are 5 elements to storytelling and doing it effectively. We start with structure insights into a compelling narrative arc. Start by clearly defining the problem or question your client or your audience needs answered. Then walk through the data you analyzed, highlighting key trends or anomalies that emerged. Finally, deliver the so what. Explain what these findings mean for the client, for the audience, and recommend actionable next steps. This structure helps you ensure your story is coherent and resonates with your audience, avoiding moments where the story makes sense to you but not to them. Element 1. Structuring insights into a narrative arc. So I'm asking you, have you had a moment where the story made sense to you, but your audience didn't get it? Your team members didn't get it. Your stakeholders didn't get it. Think about it. Put it in the chat. Share your experience. Next, choosing visuals that support the story. Choosing the right visuals is critical to supporting your story. Look at the confusing pie chart and next to it a clear bar chart to illustrate how simplicity and relevance enhance understanding. Match your visuals to the message you want to convey, whether it's a bar chart, a line chart, heat map, a flow chart, sometimes even a table in my world with conditional formatting. So to avoid complexity that can distract or confuse. And I'll show you what I'm talking about a bit later. What are your go-to visual tools? Have you ever had a visual backfire on you? Again, share. Share because we can also learn from your good stories and from your difficulties. Audience-centric framing of insights. Framing insights from the audience's perspective. Present data in their language. Who is your audience? Dr. David Marco always starts all his presentations with, who is your audience? So present data in their language. Align it with their goals and key performance indicators. And focus on what the data implies rather than just the numbers. The comparison between typically here, the analyst's view makes sense to him, but from the client or the audience view, it makes no sense. Understanding what truly matters to your audience allows you to tailor your message for maximum impact and engagement. How do you discover what your audience really needs? What do they understand? What do they want? Do you ask why when they ask you for something? Please share again. From insight to action is the focus here. After uncovering key findings, translate them into value-driven recommendations that highlight opportunities, risks, and clear next steps. For example, if website traffic dropped by 15%, interpret potential causes and suggest specific actions, like increasing content posts. Consider whether your audience expects just a report or actionable advice, and aim to deliver recommendations that help them to make decisions and drive results. What does your audience normally expect from you? Just a report, or do they want you to interpret it and also make recommendations coming out of that? So the essential element to me of effective data storytelling, structuring insights into a narrative arc, selecting visuals that reinforce your message, framing insights with the audience in mind, crafting recommendations that add value, and using storytelling to build trust. Each point is a building block that, when combined, helps you communicate data in a way that is clear, persuasive, and trustworthy. Building trust through storytelling requires clarity, honesty, and strategic communication. Involve your audience throughout the process to foster engagement and confidence in your work. Data presented without context can feel confusing and transactional, while data shared through a story is clear. Use examples. It is trusted, memorable. Read, hear, and see. It's the best way to remember. Reflect on how you tell your story to ensure it not only informs, but also builds lasting trust with your audience. And that is where I'm stopping with sharing and with slides. And
No one
I
wants
need
to
to...
share their experiences, Liana. I think they're a little scared to tell us of their storytelling experiences, or maybe they don't have a storytelling experience.
Okay, sorry, I'm switching off my camera because I'm going to start working on the other screen. So nobody wants to share.
I think they're a little shy.
Maybe we can wake them up with the next round. You don't want egg on your face or share any disappointments. Let's see what happens. Okay, now I need to share again. Now we'll move on to more practical demonstration. I'm not going to show you really the how. It's more the what and the why and how to tell the story. So here we go again, sharing. I'm unfortunately going to have to start more than once. Can you see, Lalita?
Yep, we can see your Excel screen.
Okay. So, good old Excel. We want to tell a story. Now, please remember what I'm reading here and what you can hopefully also see. I hope it's big enough. We are tracking the retail performance of our company across products, people, and places to understand what's working, where we need to improve, and how we can grow. So that's a typical request that they might ask of you as the analyst. And nowadays you've got business data analysis. So yes, even in the business analysis field, this could be applicable. So we want to highlight top performers and problem areas. Show how data-driven decisions can help business grow. Empower the audience to ask better questions based on what they see. So I'm going to show you, this is actually part of my storytelling course. So we are looking at the final dashboard too. So the key questions our dashboard should answer. What are total sales and profits? Are we growing? Is our margin healthy? Which product categories are driving performance? Which ones are underperforming? Who are our key buyers and how are they performing? Can we link categories to buyer success? Which regions or managers are most profitable? Are some codes consistently underperforming? Are there seasonal trends we can plan around? What are our strongest and weakest months or quarters? Now, what I've been given, or what we have been given, is this data. I've got a table. Click here on table design. You can see the table is named buyers. This table is named dates. I'm not showing you the raw data. There's already been some conversions done here. Managers, suburbs. The data set is not too big, but we've got 4 different tables. Then we've got our sales table, and that's what I'm saying. There's already been work done. So it looks funny, but yes, and this is rather large, 76,000 odd rows. Now, if we look at these tables, remember what I said, what the story is. It actually makes no sense. Yes, we can see different categories here. We can see the different chains. But if I go to my data model, takes a bit of time to open this, which is, I'll move into Power BI next. And it's interesting, doing exactly the same from Excel to Power BI. This workbook is 11 megabyte and Power BI is 2 megabyte. Just shows you the different tools. So I've now gone into the model view, and guess what? Just by having these blocks, if I can call it that, already we start seeing what we actually have got. What information have we got in those tables that we couldn't really, I mean, 76,000, you can't really have an idea. But I also want these different tables to talk to each other. So create a connection. Create connections. So all of a sudden, it actually starts making a lot more sense. So if I go back to my workbook, yeah, Susie. Remember my story? And guess what? There we've got an interactive retail dashboard. I've got my sales to date. I've got purchases to date, gross profit percentage to date, sales and gross profit by quarter, sales by date and chain, and we want to know second quarter. Now I can connect all of these, but I chose not to. So we can actually have it completely interactive. So you can report on specific chains, on specific categories. If we go a little bit lower down, again, sales by chain and state, the buyer, state and manager. And once again, I can report now. So I'm sitting with one single dashboard and I can report on different aspects. Makes a lot more sense. Any questions at this point in time?
Liana, is this dashboard standard, or did you create it, or like
I
how
create
easy
it
it
from
is?
scratch. I
How
create it
easy it
from
is?
scratch.
Yeah,
I look at my requirements.
yeah.
I look at my input tables, the data, and then I start doing all the magic and creating pivot tables using Power Query, writing a little bit of DAX, and eventually create the visuals, which again I format so that we've got a nice looking dashboard. So now this is from scratch. There's no imported anything's.
No, that's cool. Just some comments from the chat. I'll just give you one now, and we can carry on as we go. Chrisan's just saying, presenting data insights as a BA uses a story to explain a sales dip. Example, in Q3, our top performing region saw 20% drop in orders. Why? Because a key distributor switched to a competitor due to delayed deliveries. This insight came from combining CRM logs with logistics data. So this makes the data more memorable and actionable. So storytelling is actually quite powerful and impactful as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, yes, it takes a little bit of time, and no, I'm not going to show you now, but those input tables, I can actually, because of the model that I've built, I can actually update them and I can go, you can see here data refresh, and I can automatically, by adding data, I can actually refresh and add more quarters or months to this dashboard as it is. So I can update and refresh and report. So what a pleasure. Okay, next, so I'm finished with Excel. Next, I'm going to move over to Power BI. Exactly the same data set, 100% the same. Got all my tables. Remember, a different tool. I still think that Excel is stronger in analyzing and cleaning to some extent. Power BI is more complex, but it's a lot stronger on visualizing. So yeah, all my same. So I've done exactly the same, used the same data, nothing different. Got my model view. So big. That's interesting. So again, I've got my same model that I've created here. And then I've created the dashboard. Now creating this dashboard, a lot of effort goes into formatting to make the visuals look good. To actually create the visual is very easy, but to format it and to place it takes time, and you need practice. And once again, this is the storytelling in Power BI course. So once again, it's interactive. I've got again my chain. I can also now ask questions of my data. So should somebody my manager wants to know something, we can ask a question. In this case, I can also click on a specific element. We can drill down. We can actually look deeper if you can see the map. So without too much effort, that's what I mean by it's definitely much more powerful to tell that story. And then I said, don't get too fancy. And I'll show you why. So yes, we've got the same thing here. Oh. Again, it's interactive. Can even go street view. And this is where I'm saying, don't get fancy. Give the necessary. Tell me, does this mean anything?
So Liana, we've got a question in the chat from Letabo. She wants to know, she said, love visually seeing the data in this manner. What would be my first step if I want to start learning how to story tell in this manner?
Start learning Excel. Start with the basics. What I mean by basics is sometimes are you going to use a lot of statistics in your analysis? Then you need to look at looking deeper into data analytics, because yes, that will be part of your cleaning and preparation in order to visualize. If you're going to be doing it like we're talking, say, on a retail store level, you can go and start and you're already au fait with Excel. You can hold your own, and you don't need to be told how to navigate and so on and what to find where. Then you can start at a higher level and you can start looking at, like I said, the storytelling course. I didn't even know, but I saw this afternoon it's starting somewhere in August. That is a follow along. And there you start with Power Query, building the models, creating connections, pivot tables, charts, ending with the dashboard. So it depends on if you're completely novice, then I would say you start with data analytics, the basics, formulas, functions, just adding columns and rows. You physically start then from that point, but you can do that quickly.
You can start on Excel and practice there.
Definitely. You're not going to, I would not recommend you when you're good at Excel, because there's a lot of DAX that goes behind this to give you this result. And DAX is another programming language which is used in Excel, but predominantly in Power BI.
Chrisana has given us more feedback as well. She says, creating personas like operations manager Mike or customer support Carla and walking through their daily tasks helps stakeholders empathize with users and validate requirements. I think it personalizes it as well. Another thing is using journey maps, swim lane diagrams, or comic strips to illustrate processes and pain points. These visuals tell a story that's easier to grasp than raw process flow. So all the data visualization that Liana's shown us as well, you'll find clients don't want to look at the raw data. They themselves don't always know how to interpret that data. So if you are able to put that into a story, put that into data visualizations, it gets the message across a lot clearer to them.
Rita, think about it. If you're sitting with a page or two or five of writing, words on a page, if you can take those words and you can put it in the form of a table, already it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
I'm still one of the old people that liked, I remember better when I've got the book in my hand. I cannot read a book on a screen. I will definitely forget everything.
So knowing your audience is key.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You don't always have to have a dashboard. In some cases, okay, let's do this. Okay, let me switch this off. Let me just do something like this. I hope I can, yeah. Color scales. Already that shows a trend. And all I've done is I've added some colors. So you don't always need a dashboard. It all depends on what you're being asked to do. So I'm showing the ultimate result, and that is to give somebody a dashboard that can update and is interactive, so you can report by department, by sales manager, by buyer. It all depends on what you want.
Yes, so Vina is actually validating what you're saying. She says, I also need to add that storytelling also speaks to psychology, like using the right colors and fonts to get your point across, but ensuring you don't make it look like a circus.
Correct. Correct. Okay. Now, I'm going to be using this data set. It's not big. It's commonly used. It's about 670 rows. Wherever you go, well, wherever I've been going, you always find this data set. It's readily available. Lolita, remind me to share about other data sets, but let's go through this first.
Okay.
Now, I've studied all these things, and yes, I've even got certificates for studying Excel. So it's not just studying at data analysis, because data analysis that I studied was Python. So, but a lot of people ask you, I looked today at the job description, and they asked for Power BI. They didn't ask for Python. So on your home ribbon, I think you guys need to check. I think here next to the Copilot icon will be, and I don't know why mine has moved, but for some other reason it has moved. It's a button called Analyze Data. I click it. So again, we received this array or table of data, numbers, names. Where do I start? If instead of just start building pivot tables and so on, where do I start? And I did promise people that I will touch on AI. So yes, this is where we now move over. So for years, Excel has had this analyze data. Click on it and see what happens. It gives you a feeling of what's possible. It just gives you a starting point. Some of these things will be completely irrelevant, not what you want or need. It makes no sense. But it's a sort of AI. Then you can go. You all have got Copilot, I'm sure. If I go to Copilot, summarize using pivot tables and charts. Takes a little bit of time.
Liana, is
And it's thinking.
Copilot standard on Excel?
It should be nowadays. If you've got a and it's on the web version too. According to my knowledge, it's available to everybody.
There's a comment here from, or the question from Aubrey. Is there a recommended structure to follow when doing storytelling? That's his first question. And the second one is, does every Power BI storyteller need to be proficient in Excel?
You can start with Power BI, but from my experience, it's going to be more difficult to learn Power BI. Then you would rather do an introduction to Power BI before you do a storytelling in Power BI. So here you can do something like that, where Copilot has inserted a sheet which you can now go and visualize. Again, it's a starting point. It's just to give you an idea. Ask it to give you all the insights and insert it. The Copilot calls it the grid, and it will put it on a new sheet in your workbook. Okay. So this is just to give you feelings. If you're looking at this rows and rows, I often work with more than 1 million rows of data, just to start getting a feeling of where to start, but keeping in mind what is the story? What do you need to report on? When you're building a dashboard, you actually lay it out, like a decision tree type of scenario. You actually lay it out. You don't just go all over the place. Now
So, Liana,
we'll go.
Letabo's also commented saying, thank you so much for that analyzed data option. It's there and I had no idea. I just recently started working with data and it's been overwhelming. These nuggets will truly come in handy.
Great, great. And that's what I'm also trying to do tonight, is to give some insights in what can be done. Instead of having to sit there and wonder exactly what is possible or where to start, that type of thing. Okay, can you see?
Yep, we can.
Okay.
ChatGPT.
Yes, I'm now in ChatGPT. And I think for business analysts and, well, for anybody, this is just an idea. I'm involved in, with a group creating a retirement course. Not going to tell you more because I don't know how much is confidential, what's not. And then I sat there listening to them talking, and I thought, hey, okay, so out came ChatGPT. I'm thinking to do business data analysis, and just as a by the by, okay, I'm obviously hiding here, but I would normally use ChatGPT o3, and that is available. Yes, I pay for Copilot, and I also pay for ChatGPT. And one of the big things here to remember is what you share. What I'm showing you here, nothing has been shared, no big deal. But these things, do remember, the name is machine learning. It's artificial intelligence. You use machine learning algorithms, okay? It learns, it keeps that information. Do not share anything confidential, proprietary, sensitive. Anyway, I said, I'm thinking to do business data analysis and strategy planning specifically for a retired person. How would I go about it? And just as a by the by, the Copilot I used in Excel. If you work in the Excel environment and you've got in the Microsoft environment and you've got a Microsoft license, that was secure. But if you use Copilot, like if you look here where my mouse is now going, that one, if I open that, that is not secure. So inside Microsoft environment, Copilot there, that is secure. Anyway, going back here. I'm thinking to do business data analysis, strategy planning, retired person, how would I go about it? Okay, now remember what I do in my day-to-day. I take methodology of business analysis, combine it with data analysis, and that to me is business data analysis and strategy planning. Start with the current state and how do you get to the future state. So yeah, the thing told me. And then I said, but hang on, what about environmental analysis? And yes, then it agrees with me. And carried on. I said, okay, now create a course. Like I said, I was curious. And there you go. Sorry, we don't have time to go into too much detail, but it gave me the course. Then I said, I like the course layout content. Write me a user story. So now it created John Doe, 65 years old, retired, and applied the elements of the course to John Doe's planning.
You must remember as well that this is machine learning. You do not take everything you get out of ChatGPT as perfect. It all depends on the questions you ask and the prompts that you put in. So make sure you read what you're actually getting back and getting out of it. And as Liana said, security is a must. A lot of these AI tools, the servers are the data is sitting on public servers, which means if that gets hacked, your information is actually also leaked. So don't be putting personal information. Make sure you're sticking to policies and procedures and governance. Take into account your POPIA acts and things, and don't. There's people that have used ChatGPT to do financial analysis on their clients, which means all of that data is now sitting somewhere in a public server. So just be very careful of that. Liana, Aubrey's got a follow-up question. So if you are learning Excel to be able to use Power BI, well, as you are recommending, are there specific tools you'd advise one to focus on learning first in Excel, which are important for Power BI?
A most definite is Power Query, because you've got Power Query and you use it in exactly the same way in both environments. DAX you use often in DAX is a language, and you don't have formulas like you've got in or functions in Excel. In Power BI it is DAX, but you still say sales or purchases over sales gives you sales minus purchases gives you gross profit. You still do that, but you use the DAX language. So Power BI runs around, instead of formulas and functions, the formulas and functions there. So get to know your formulas and functions, because there are DAX formulas and functions that are similar, which makes it easier to understand. Sorry, I'm just preparing everything here so that we can save time.
That's fine. We've got 10 minutes left. Chrisan's given us one of her favorite sayings. Yeah? A BA tells a story that connects business goals with technical solutions, bridging the gap between business and IT. So to reduce churn, we need to identify at-risk customers. That's why we are proposing a predictive model that flags accounts with declining engagements. So that's just an example of it. I think all of us do storytelling in some way, but I think what Liana's showing us now gives us tools and techniques that we could actually be more deliberate in our storytelling and making sure that by knowing our audience, it's more effective and impactful. Okay, Liana, we can see your screen.
Okay, and I'm going to try for this to be the last time that I'm stopping and starting. Okay, remember that Excel workbook where I showed analyze data and Copilot. What I've done is I've uploaded, remember that is static dummy data. I've loaded it into ChatGPT. Now, the secret behind any of these AI tools is that you tell it your story, your requirement. Now, when you look at these people that tell you how to prompt and so on, they talk about context, and I forget the rest of the C's. But there's, I think, 3 C's. To me, very simple. Who, if you remember this, look at what I've prompted. I'm the FP&A of this company, okay? Look at it from the point of who, what, where, why, when, and how. So when you do a prompt, give all this info. So yes, I've uploaded the workbook. The FP&A of this company analyzed the data to find insights, execute the following. Verify consistency of the data, or say, read, clean, and format as necessary. Propose analysis, descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, prescriptive, based on the data provided and/or goal. Perform the analysis and detail the calculations. Show the visuals for each analysis. Create commentaries like a seasoned CFO. So I'm telling my story, my requirement to ChatGPT. So it's important that you explain properly what you want. And look what the thing did. Data consistency, proposed analysis. Okay, now it's performing the analysis. It's creating visuals. Write CFO commentaries. Oh, it carries on. And it's what our 10 lines of prompt that I've given. There's my CFO commentary. And so it carries on. And I'm running quickly here. I said, create an executive summary, super modern slides summarizing the insights. Use HTML for this. Why? I'll show you. My HTML. Now, there's different things you can do. I'm showing as many practical ways of showing the story. I'm busy telling stories here. I don't understand this specific bit of story. Copy. What I've done is I've gone to Google. I entered into the search box HTML, and it gave me the option to go to a HTML online viewer. Remember, I'm still always keep security in mind. Okay, Control V. Look what the thing did. Isn't this great? Here's my executive summary. This is the HTML. Amazing, huh? I find it so interesting, all these possibilities. Anyway, let's go back here. So we're still carrying on. I then said create a dashboard for the insights, use HTML. Now what does also happen is if you don't switch off chat histories and there's an option, I do subscribe. There's an option to chat histories can be switched off, and also to not learn from your data. I still don't say that it's 100% secure, but you can do that. I like it to learn because I can actually say less. So inside ChatGPT, I've now asked for the visuals. Instead of going to the HTML viewer, I can now view my dashboard inside ChatGPT. So remember, we asked something, and yes, here we get the output. I think this is absolutely marvelous, if I may say so. Any questions?
Yeah, so there's a comment from Chrisan. She says, Simon Sinek says, start with the why. And then Letabo is asking, Liana, why request insights in HTML? Could we not have just copied and pasted the output?
You could, of course you could. You could ask it, to give it to you in PDF format. You can ask
Is
it
it is
to.
it because of security?
No, it's got nothing to do with security, but it saves a lot of time.
Yeah.
Instead of copying and pasting, and
Gives you
I mean,
different
you can
options of how you could take it out of.
absolutely. This is a saving time, and you can share instead of having to copy paste, clean, edit, but always check for accuracy. You cannot just accept that the thing knows what is going on. Or I find it to sometimes be more reliable than other times. I think the certain times of the day, as the whole world, because of time differences, everybody is online, it actually becomes less reliable. Okay, a final two items here. I've been playing, it's called Bricks, Bricks AI. Again, I'm back to my that workbook, and all I've done is I have physically loaded it into this bricks, and guess what? It created. I've not bought anything here. I'm new to this one. I've not played, but and it looks like you've got about 20 AI messages per month or whatever. But I think it's pretty impressive if this is what you want. To me, where I would use this is to get these insights and see which of these are the important ones and then go and fine tune. Not just share all of them, because this is maybe not what we were asked to report on. And then finally, this was me. I took the business analysis standard. I think it's a 2022. Again, notebook LM. It's online. I'm in the Google environment, signed in, so I'm not paying for it. I uploaded it. You can see here. And it created for me a summary. Now I can save that to notes, or copy it, or save to notes. So yes, it suggests some prompts. You can also ask your own questions. So I've got some I've got some of the notes that I've saved here. And watch what's happened. I've got the choice to create an audio overview. I hope you now hear the sound, Lolita.
Welcome to the
Go
deep
for it.
dive.
Yep.
Think of this as your guides, helping you find that mental treasure map to navigate complex ideas and maybe uncover some surprising insights along the way. Today, we're diving into business analysis. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, oh, that sounds a bit niche, maybe even dry.
Yeah, it can have that reputation.
But stick with us, because this is way more than just a job title. It's actually, I think, a kind of universal superpower for understanding change and creating real value.
Absolutely. Whether you're in a big corporate setting or, just trying to figure out how to finally tackle that personal project, you're on it immediately.
We're just feeling less stressed because your morning routine is smoother after some change you made at home.
Perfect example. Business analysis is constantly pushing you to ask, what's the real worth we're creating? And importantly, for whom? Who are the stakeholders benefiting?
That makes a lot of sense. And, if someone listening is thinking, okay, Sounds like consultant speak.
Yeah.
The standard really hammers home that these ideas apply everywhere. It's not just for people with analyst in their title.
Not at all. If you're a
I have done absolutely nothing except for click create an overview. Okay, and
Yeah.
totally inappropriate application. So my data is not meant for a mind map, but look what the thing did.
Lataba's also mentioned that she said Notebook LM is the best. I love it to summarize docs and also get audio and a mind map. Interesting
Yes.
times to be alive, the ability to upload a doc and then ask it questions about what you're learning. The possibilities are endless. And Chrisan says, love it. I've also done that recently. I uploaded actually 23 documents from a WHO toolkit. And it also did a similar thing, like a podcast explaining the structure of the toolkit and how to go about using it, which is actually quite good. Instead of me reading 23 documents in a week before a 2-week workshop. It helps.
And you can go jogging with the thing you recorded on your whatever you carry with you, what do you call those things, and listen to it while you're jogging or I don't know, driving or whatever the case might be. But I thought this is look, this is all storytelling,
Yeah.
and the message I'm trying to get across here is visual. Who is your audience? Okay, please be careful when you use AI because of security. Create dummy data, but it can be fun. I mean, I had great fun preparing all of this. So use this. There are other tools. Now, typically Copilot, I find that I reach a certain length of conversation and then it says, uh-oh, I reached my limit. When I start another conversation, it's not, I've got to almost restart. Then I prefer ChatGPT. Like I uploaded that sample workbook into ChatGPT or Bricks. It's not too big, but it's already, for example, too big for Claude to do an analysis. Claude is quite good with doing analysis, but even that little sample workbook is too big. And then it starts making mistakes or it doesn't give you the charts that you're asking for. So it's all a matter of don't go out and buy things, play with it. Chrisan, do you still like pie? A friend of mine likes Poe. I found Perplexity once told me a company has closed. So I'm taking it with a little bit of a pinch of salt. So yes, find out what are the go-to tools to use, but AI is valuable. And if anybody wants to play, Lalita, thank you, you've put there. On Kaggle, it's you sign in, you log in and sign up, but it's free. And there are thousands of different types of data sets that you can use. And what I did typically with that analyze data and Copilot, the one I recommend, it's large. It's a large data set. It's called Shark Attacks. And it's got repetition, it's got data cleaning, and even South Africa is there. So yes, that is another very popular data set for practicing, and you can use it anywhere and wherever.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that, Liana. I think you've given us a lot of food for thought, things for us to go play around with as well. And maybe next time we'll come and ask you or tell you something that we've learned.
Please do.
Latabo said Copilot has a designer built into it that you can draw up diagrams and visuals. For work, the org Copilot works great and it helps that it's an internal play box. So then security is sorted and ChatGPT is for my learnings.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I often, when I go to ChatGPT, I would say these are my column headings, and give me the Python code, and then I jump into, copy the code and jump into Anaconda to get what I need, or into SQL or whatever. So it all depends. Play. Just don't share anything confidential. Well, I had fun. I hope you guys learned something. I thought to, well, try and share. I've
I think
done a
we
lot
all
of playing
learned
over the
something new.
years.
I think you have a lot of insight to share with us, and I think all these nuggets of information that you've given us and these little tips and tools, it now gives us the room to go and play further with it. I know you didn't show us exactly how to do everything, but I think that was the idea. It was just to prompt the thinking about what's out there and what we could use, and it would be according to what our projects are, our audience, and what we're looking for. So I think everybody just needs
Yes.
to go out there and try it.
What is your dashboard?
Exactly.
Is it a flow diagram? I don't know. Is it, I use decision trees, for example, criticality analysis. What visuals do you guys work with? What do you put on Figma and those tools? Yeah? Visualize. Tell the story.
People are now more visual and not reading long texts and things. So the more visual you can get, but with accurate information and catered towards what your client or your audience is looking for, the better you're going to get buy-in and actually get feedback as well. Thank you, Liana. We've actually gone over the
Absolutely.
time, but I think it's because it's so interesting and everyone had lots of comments and questions on this. Maybe in a few months' time, we can do a follow-up and see what else is out there and what else other people have actually learned. And maybe we can actually do a roundtable.
Well, we can also do like Python in Excel. That's a session by itself.
Kanye says, awesome session. What is the work along session coming up soon that was mentioned? Oh, the the master class. The master class is next week, Thursday, the 7th of August. Master classes are longer than tools and techniques. They're a 2-hour session, and it's more interactive and practical as well. So it's from 6 to 8 p.m. There has been details posted on LinkedIn and on the various WhatsApp groups. So just look for the IIBA SA LinkedIn account and you'll find it there. And we'll see you guys there next week.
Yeah, and follow me on LinkedIn or look for me, Liana Ahrens Teixeira, on LinkedIn. If there's any classes or training being offered, you'll see it there on my profile.
Yep.
But thank you, everybody, for listening patiently and contributing.
Sherelle says, thank you so much. Amazing what can be done.
She better say that, huh?
Brownie points. Thank you again, Liana. This was actually very, very, very good.
Thanks, everybody.
I thoroughly enjoyed it as well. Thanks, everyone.
I did.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you so much.